A demon, a villain, a liar, but most prominently known as the strongest. The entire balance of the Lookism universe hinged on his existence alone. His mere presence decided victors in battle, and his strength, absolute. In the hierarchy of Lookism, Gun stood at the pinnacle. Working directly under Charles Choi, he commanded respect and fear from everyone around him. From the four major crews to the kings. Everyone acknowledged his overwhelming power, and with just a glance, he could determine your fighting potential. With just a word, he could elevate you to greatness or condemn you to obscurity. But what made Gun truly terrifying wasn't just his physical prowess, it was his cunning intellect, his ability to manipulate others, and his complete disregard for conventional morality. Gun operated by his own code, a brutal philosophy of survival that shaped everything he touched. Currently, Gun is imprisoned for his numerous crimes, but the impact he's had on the series is immeasurable. Today we're analyzing not just who Gun Park is, but the Gun Park effect. Welcome back to the channel, and today we're diving deep into one of the most influential characters in Korean manhwa, Gun Park from Lookism. If you've read Lookism, you already know this man's reputation, and if you haven't, prepare yourself for a character analysis that will make you want to binge the entire series immediately. To understand Gun, we need to understand his origins. Unlike many other characters with tragic backstories who turn towards good, Gun's past pushed him into the opposite direction. From the very beginning, Gun lost everything before his life even started. It's almost formulaic in storytelling that good upbringing equals a good person, and vice versa. With some exceptions, but Gun isn't one of those exceptions. His entire existence was built on survival, and that meant stripping away anything that could be perceived as weakness. Never knowing kindness, Gun thrived in environments where strength measured your worth. In that world, he became unexpendable. And let's be clear, Gun is undeniably a bad person, with criminal charges that would stack up to the moon, but the goal here isn't to forgive Gun, but to understand why he is the way he is. Gun has fought, bled, and destroyed to reach the top. But at what cost? Can a man who sacrificed everything for power still be called human? He never mourns, never hesitates, never questions, because doubt is a weakness he refuses to allow. What does that mean when survival becomes your only purpose? Does winning make you right? Does strength make you just? If survival forms the very core of our existence, then Gun Park represents humanity in its purest form. Unbothered by mortal limitations, his ruthless chase of survival reveals the primal truth we all carry within. Gun's philosophy is brutally simple. Strength is everything. This mindset shaped not just his actions, but created a framework that many characters either adopted or rebelled against. This is where the Gun Park effect truly begins to take form. Consider how many characters were directly molded by Gun's influence, like Daniel, Eli Jang, Jeon Seung, and Jae Kim. Gun's approach to fighting and survival became a benchmark against which all other philosophies in Lookism are measured. Even those who reject his methods are defined by that rejection. What makes him especially interesting is how Gun himself never seemed to be bothered by contradictions in his philosophy. He preached absolute strength while serving Charles Choi. He could create powerful fighters who would eventually challenge his authority, and he built systems that could potentially outlast him. Was this short-sightedness, or was Gun playing a longer game than anyone realized? With Gun behind bars, the void he left behind is massive. His presence alone kept many in check, but now new players are stepping up. Old grudges are reuniting, and factions that once lived in fear now see an opportunity to claim the throne. Some see his absence as a chance to finally escape his shadow. Others want to take his place, and let's not forget, Gun didn't just create enemies, he also created legacies, as well as disciples. Fighters shaped by his brutal philosophy carry his teachings forward in their own way. The power vacuum creates some of the most compelling narrative developments in Lookism, like how will the four major crews realign without Gun's influence? Just how drastically has the power dynamic changed? Will characters like Gun truly forge their own path? And lastly, speaking of the power vacuum, who might take Gun's place? The ripples of his existence will be felt long after he's gone. Now, the million-dollar question. Will the world be better off without him, or will things only get worse? In an ironic twist of fate, the man who could survive anything couldn't survive himself. Locked away, stripped of everything, Gun is now forced to face the opponent he's never battled before, his own conscience. But even calling it a conscience might be giving Gun too much credit. What Gun experienced was closer to an ego death, where he lost his sense of self amidst everything. After losing his connection to Charles Choi, the four major crews and the kings, he lost purpose. All of a sudden, his strength became meaningless. He could have had absolute power, taken over Charles' position if he wanted to. He could have returned to Japan to lead the Yamazaki clan, but none of it was worth it anymore. This is maybe the most fascinating aspect of Gun's character. A man defined by strength and survival who ultimately lost the will to continue when his purpose disappeared. It raises questions like, is strength without purpose truly strength at all? Can someone whose entire identity is built around winning survive losing? What happens when the monster realizes he's created a world of monsters? The Gun Park effect is so much more than the story of one villain. It's an examination of how a single character can shape an entire narrative universe. Through his strength, his philosophy, and even his absence, Gun continues to influence every single aspect of Lookism. Whether you see him as a demon, a villain, or simply a product of his circumstance, there's no denying Gun Park's importance to the series. His legacy lives on in every battle, every character decision, and every power shift within the story. And that's what makes Lookism such a compelling read. It's not just about the fighters or the transformations, it's about how characters like Gun create ripple effects that can change everyone around them.